What up, guys? Welcome to the SoundCentric podcast. I'm Samuel Sarfo.
I'm Adam Dash.
And of
Bryce
course, you guys
Fitz.
can tell Bryce Fitz. Of course, we got Bryce Fitz in here. We've been wanting this for a little bit, so we're really happy he's here. He's, of course, working with Fitz Record, his own thing over at YouTube. Go ahead and check his channel if you haven't already. But Bryce, appreciate you for coming through, man.
Of course. Appreciate y'all having me. Let's do it.
Of course. Let's get to it, Adam.
Yeah, there's nothing else we'd want to talk to you about more than the artist you love. So later in the episode, you are going to educate us on Playboi Carti and Ken Karson because Sam's an old head, so he definitely doesn't understand it. And I'm open to hearing new music, so I'm trying to understand it. So we're going to get educated. But first, we're going to talk about someone that we all grew up listening to. The man that, there's no one who cares about hip-hop more as an artist than this guy. He's the biggest nerd of rap music. It made me become a nerd of rap music. His mixtapes helped me find beats where I'm like, who's this? I'm like, oh, that's Kicking the Door by DJ, that's by Biggie. Gets me into the 90s rap. We're talking about the one and only Bobby Logic, Bobby Tarantino. And, well, Bryce, you have a relationship with him, which is crazy. And as a fan, I want to know how that even started. And how does that feel to talk to the man himself?
So I guess I'll go in kind of chronological how it started. So before we got in here, I was talking a little bit how I started my Twitter, at least taking it seriously as far as music, hip hop goes, in around 2020. And, as Logic fans, you guys know 2020 retirement year for Logic. No Pressure was dropping. So when I had started out, he was off the internet, as in he hadn't posted a single thing in a year, nothing at all, just radio silence from him. So I was kind of using, I was going through the ranks in just hip hop Twitter, just gaining followers, just talking about music, not even related to Logic, but I would always show love for him. And I guess just over that time of him, and then No Pressure came out, he would see things somehow, whether it was himself on the internet, other people, and he became familiar with me and my name. And then a year later, it was 2022 actually. So 2 years later, he found my TikTok because I started posting my YouTube videos on TikTok. I started YouTube 2021. So from there, he kind of connected the dots, and he kind of was aware of my social media presence. And then he would Twitch stream, because I know he did that after No Pressure. He'd become familiar with my name in the chat. And just at this point, I made that TikTok talking about or guessing the song name. Someone played a second of the audio. And he was already familiar with what I had done to that point. So that's when he gave me the free tickets. And just from there, it's just been I'll see him at his shows. He'll shout me out on stage, whatever, go backstage. We'll talk. He actually, I don't know if you guys are aware of this Discord situation he had, but he had his Discord. That's gone now. However, he'll still message me on there. The other day, he just sent me a message on there. So now we kind of have a direct line of communication for whenever he needs to get some off his chest. But he's off the internet. So he doesn't see everything I do, but if he ever does watch a video, he'll send me a message and say he likes it. So it's dope. It's definitely a cool feeling.
That's awesome. I think artists don't always understand how much they forget what their high school or middle school self felt when other artists noticed them. I remember, I think I was 8th grade, and I wrote Logic's to my birthday, wrote happy birthday and tagged me. And that was the coolest thing ever. That makes you want to go buy their merch. It makes you want to go to their show and become an investor into what they do.
Yeah, you feel like you're a part of that community, especially for someone like him. Another artist I can think of who's really good at doing the kind of community building and kind of, I don't want to say making friends with the artists, because, Logic always tell me we are homies, but at the end of the day, it's I'm a fan, he's Logic, there's mutual respect there that just can't, you can't overstep that boundary.
Yeah.
But I'd say Uzi's really good with that. He has on Instagram specifically, I've never talked to Uzi, but I know a lot of people they're in group chats with Uzi, and
I have seen that.
He'll just send pictures or whatever. It's very casual, with him. So I really like when artists do that. It really does, like you say, it makes you invest into the fan base and the artist as a whole.
Yeah. And even with Logic, too, we've all been following his whole career for a long time. And that's how you build. When I was watching Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, Logic, of course, the way they built a fan base from scratch and having to interact with them. And Logic has done an amazing job keeping tabs with his fans, even with retirement, even with going independent, right? Being able to keep tabs with artists, being able to track where the data is going. Oh, in this area, this is where I have the most fans. And for Incredible True Story, let me hear the album early, and let me come through to their crib and they can hear it. That's always important. It's not as present as much anymore, I don't feel because of social media, maybe. I don't know. But even though it's easier, but I don't know.
people want to make it digital. Like, I'll say I agree with you. A lot of artists aren't doing things like that anymore. However, there are lots of artists who are kind of doing that in a way through like internet things like Discord listening parties. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Discord's really popular for, I didn't realize how much it was, but there's like a Discord for like every like major
Yeah.
hip hop artist out there now. And most of the time
And
they're in it at a time or so. So
there's cool innovative stuff going on, like rapper Marlon Craft, if you know him. He has a Patreon where you can like pay and you get like the same thing, kind of like what Logic was doing. You get exclusive songs. Maybe you get the merch first. You get to actually have a conversation with him or like see him work. So it's cool to see this new innovative style of like what's gonna be next. I saw someone tweet this, but it makes so much sense. Like streamers are now the biggest thing. I personally have never watched like a streamer before.
Me neither.
I think that missed our generation a little bit by a couple of years. But like Offset does a 24-hour stream with someone. Like that's where you go to market music now. Sadly, you're not really going to go.
It worked crazy. Speaking of Marlon,
his sales are crazy. What was it? You said Offset, right?
Yeah, Offset just dropped.
Yeah, he almost had 100,000 sales, which is incredible for an independent Migo. So
yeah.
Into a singular Migo.
One singular.
What were you gonna say about Marlon Craft?
I was gonna say him and Logic just dropped a song. If you haven't heard that, that shit was
I saw that. Yeah,
it's fire. Marlon, he's one of my favorites.
Who do you think had the best verse?
Logic.
Low-key, I'm gonna say Logic too. I thought Logic actually.
I've heard that verse before because it's reused, but it's still a good verse.
It's still a good verse.
Yeah, I kind of forget it, but they both barred that out. I was happy that they got to connect.
They did. They both killed it. But less about Logic, but more so about his songs. Right? We have a top 5 Logic song ranking going for all 3 of us. Who wants to go first? Me.
I guess go in order of the thing.
Go in order, and of course, if you're listening through podcast, you can't see it, but hey, you still get the full.
We'll explain.
All right.
At number 5 for Sam Sarfo.
Right.
I'll say this was really, really difficult to do because I was
trying my best. For me to do, yeah.
I was trying my best not to all choose from like 1 or 2 albums, and it was mixing like what was nostalgic to me and what I currently still listen to in rotation.
Yeah.
And I think there's a common theme in my choices.
Yeah, I did one from different projects. I couldn't. I stopped myself from putting entirety of like Under Pressure on it.
Yeah.
I wish I had that discipline. But for me, in 5th, we had Under Pressure, the song. That song is like one of my favorite Logic rapping. He is just incredible, especially that verse and the beat switches and everything. That's one of my favorites for sure.
That music video, great music video too. That POV. Where they're like,
I'm pretty sure like Nate Shot's in that video too, which is wild.
Really? Shit.
Yeah, he's one of the guys in there.
There we go. Adam. Pressure on the board. I had number 5 for me. I actually don't know what it is, so you're gonna have to move it for me to,
Fade away.
To remember what it is. Fade away. Oh,
okay.
Wow. What a way! It's that beat going right into it. I mean, I was saying before we started this, but I was listening to The Incredible True Story yesterday, and it made me realize like how important of an album that was to me. And it's the second song. It's like the first song on the album, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's the first song, the second track. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What a way to start an album with that beat. I mean, I know it was like a single for the album, but there's gonna be a common theme in my choices. But that one is really special to me.
Same here. And that's like, you can't hide it. To me, that's Logic's best album, Incredible True Story. I don't know about you, Bryce, but that one is like my peak Logic fandom.
Yeah. All right, number 5 for me, gonna be controversial.
A new one.
I got Gaither's with Freestyle on there. Yeah, you'll see. I mean, I got some of the more classic songs above the list, but I used my 5th spot here to kind of highlight the more like fun side of Logic, like the more banger side. You know, I don't have really any of those types of tracks in my other 4, and honestly, this is like one of my most listened to songs of like all time. Like that All Snapped, Fat Trill's verse is amazing. And I helped shoot the music video, so I have bias, but it's really good.
Okay, say less. Okay, there you go. There you go. For me, in 4th, we had Young Jesus. Like, that's like, when I think of Logic, apart from like Young Sinatra 3 and the mixtapes, him and Big Lembo killed it. He gives me, you know, like Fat Joe, big pun vibes, and it's just all around a great hip hop track.
BIGLEMBO.
Exactly.
That's true.
My number 4, we will see what it is. I'm surprised too. Everybody, there we go. You can see the album is kind of floating above my head.
That's sick. Yeah.
I also have I forget how to pronounce the artist's name, but Maha. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I got he sent me a Kanye painting like a few months ago. Yeah.
I got Logic pointing his middle finger at me on my ceiling. I got it's like 3 of his faces all combined.
Yeah, he's a nice
I don't
guy.
want I don't want to mess up the camera, but you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Everybody, I remember that being single for the album, and this is my
Incredible.
peak Logic fandom going into Everybody, and that song, just him barring out the whole time, that was
Yeah.
special.
Yeah. All right, and I got Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, title track. I mean, taken apart from the album, I do like the album. I think it was more fun, but just talking about this track specifically, I mean, he goes into like quite vulnerable detail of like how he's been feeling these last few years, just how the internet's been making him feel, how like himself has been making him feel, and Logic's always been an advocate for mental health, going back to like the inception of his career, especially up with Everybody, that whole album 1-800, and I think this was a very just like open song, and I enjoyed hearing like his honest thoughts about just himself and his career and his personal life up to this point.
Yeah,
That song's special.
that
Yeah.
song, it's not my top 5, but it's on the bench. Like he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the music video is outstanding. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen the music video, I'll go check that
Yeah,
out.
it's sick.
Yeah.
The blood
Yeah.
oozes.
Third, we got Soul Food. I wish I could have put this so much more higher. I feel like every Logic fan, that's going to be top 3.
Yeah.
I have a couple that I really do enjoy, but Soul Food is obviously a Logic classic. There's nothing more for me to say at all. And of course, that beat switch at the end too. Come on.
Crazy.
My number 3, Run It. There
Nice.
we go. All right, so you're gonna see this common theme for my top 5 is just Logic barring out on songs, and another song that's similar to this that I was gonna put on the list was Stainless, but he was Run It. I can do that bar for bar the whole thing. At the gym, I'm next to a lot of old people, and they just see me rapping very fast along to this one. But I've been obsessed with this one since it came out.
I try to put this in. I wanted to put it in so bad. Run It. Like that is one of my all-time favorites, but I just couldn't.
That third verse, I'm just gonna go in.
Yeah, he comes back in. Yeah, that's just
Yep.
crazy. All right, I got GP4.
Great
I mean,
song.
speaking
Great
of barring out, super long verse, one verse on here. We got his boy T-Man doing the hook, of course. It's the interpolation sample of Elevators by Outkast, which is crazy that he got that clear.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you really like look into this verse, I think there's like a deconstruction video or maybe like a live stream uploaded somewhere of like him actually going into what he's saying, and it's like, wow, like I don't think anyone would ever piece together what he's actually saying without the explanation, but when he does explain it, it's like crazy. I mean, he goes into like talking about kicking the door, like the key of the song, talking about like a key of cocaine, some crazy flip. Yeah, there's lots of things, and Erykah Badu and the sample, and talking about like that the beats, his dad literally talking about like how the beat is like what fathered him into hip hop. It's crazy. It's a crazy verse and it's long, and I love it.
That's one of my favorites off. Not No Pressure, is it? Is it No Pressure?
Yeah, it's No Pressure.
Yeah, and favorites off No Pressure, and one of my favorites of all time. And that's my favorite Growing Pains, for me at least, series.
Yeah.
Yep. Number 2, I had Like Whoa. Again, Fade Away is one of those tracks, but Like Whoa, I think he might have released as a single as well after Fade Away. But this is like every time I listen to this track, it brings me back to my childhood and why I like Logic for who he is. So shout to Lodge.
Yeah.
For you, you had
number 2.
Good one.
I got Young Jesus as well. This is the song that's probably stuck with me the most, that I play most frequently. I mean, it works in the gym, works in the car, it works for me anywhere. I remember I can picture the music video in my head with like the newscast in the music video. This was just a time for Logic fans.
It was. It really was. Such an era.
Him going around in that tour bus and like meeting fans and showing them the album first. It was really, I mean, it's gonna change now in the internet, like the shift in how we show music, but like that internet blog era, him, Mac Miller, that J. Cole, those type of people were doing marketing wise, that was sick.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I got City of Stars now. Not gonna lie, when I first got into Logic, I actually didn't like this song like at all.
Because he's singing.
Yeah, like I just wasn't into it. But the more I educated myself on hip hop in general and just music in general, especially like it's a very Kanye inspired song. Let's be honest. Definitely. But getting into like artists like Kanye, like The Weeknd especially too. Like I definitely like hear that in The Weeknd's music. I like this song a lot, and especially that back half of him like just rapping. That back half verse is crazy, and it's the whole song is like a double entendre for love and hip hop. It's really dope. It's peak. It's great.
That second verse, he's talking his shit.
Yeah, he
Like,
is.
they didn't talk about race in the whole first album, but Black and White bullshit was still the
So
outcome.
outcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I
And
know, like,
number
I was saying
one,
this earlier. I had 7 tracks I wanted to fit into these top 5. 2 of those are Run It and City of Stars. Um, Peak Logic. Number 1 for me, what did I even put as number 1? Oh, Lord Willin', of course. That's again, I know, like,
Yo.
there's a similar theme. I just love Incredible True Story.
Yeah.
That's just the album for
yeah.
me. Lord Willin', another classic track from Logic.
Before you reveal my number one,
Uh-huh.
I'll explain that when I got into Logic, it was the day Under Pressure came out. So I
Mhm.
must have been 8th grade, 7th grade. And there was one song that's gonna be my number one on this list that I found that I listened to first. And I'm like, oh, this is that time where you bought albums for $9.99. You weren't just streaming
Mhm.
the album.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this started my love. So now you can show my number one.
Say less. Till the end.
Till the end.
Hey. All right.
That it's got to be the most nostalgic song for me. It's the first one I ever listened to and fell in love with. And I'm a sucker for like the choir type kids singing like in songs. So da 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 da,
Yeah.
and now I'm just in love with that song.
Mhm.
Very grandiose song. Very celebratory.
What a way to finish an album. Under Pressure.
Yeah. Under Pressure. I mean, come on, bro. It's like a 9-minute song. And it goes through, like, we talked about it earlier. I know it was your 5th pick, Sam, but like it just goes into like everything about his
Yeah.
family, and like he's vulnerable about it, rapping from multiple perspectives, playing real voicemails from his real family that he's
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
talking about. Like, it ties in together beautifully. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
my favorite song of all time of any artist. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is.
100%. Hey,
it's
at least we
crazy.
have it. Adam doesn't
Yeah.
even have it. It's
I don't
crazy.
have it. Yo, it's hard. It's like when they
Yeah.
talk about sports, like when they're trying to rank the top 5 player in the NBA, like there's 30 players who are top 5 in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like there's too many lists.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some like songs I was debating, like gang related. I mean, I studied
Mhm.
that so I could go on stage. I never got on stage.
Yeah.
I had the rap for Logic or Die Trying
Yeah.
poster. I think he saw it, but he didn't bring anyone up in Philly. It's fucked up.
Yeah. He kind of stopped doing that as of recently. One girl, he did that to one girl recently, and she was like wilding out like a lot. So he kind of stopped doing it, like actually like saying some crazy shit. So you never
Well, this
know
was
who you're
more
gonna
back
bring.
in the day, so I don't know if he has an excuse. I think he was still doing it, but
Yeah.
it's fine. I'm trying to think. What are some other songs that you guys were debating on?
That was just for me.
A
Run
lot.
It and City of Stars.
Something on Bobby Tarantino. I'm definitely like was definitely
44
debating.
bars is
Like
up
44,
there.
44
Great
more
one.
too.
Yeah.
Everybody Dies. Like I just remember when that album was coming out. Him and that. You don't like that? I like
It's all right.
he was in the Bruce Wayne basement rapping. Was that Everybody
it's
Dies?
Oh yeah, that was on Young Sinatra 5.
Yeah.
Everybody Dies. I love that track.
Yeah. I like the title track on that album.
Mhm. Okay, so I
Yeah.
think Incredible True Story is his best. I think you'd feel the same way,
I
Adam. What
agree.
about for you? What's your favorite? Probably you give me like Under Pressure vibes, probably,
Yeah,
or
I'm
maybe
gonna.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna. It changes all the time, but it is really
Uh-huh.
between Incredible True Story, Under Pressure, and No Pressure. I'm
Mhm.
gonna give it to No Pressure here, and I'll say
Mhm.
because we are in a modern day of Logic,
Mm-hmm.
and it just if you really just like listen to like those 3 albums back to back, I can see the argument that Incredible True Story is better. I mean, I can see the argument that Under Pressure is better too, which was my answer for like ever. But it's like when you really listen to No Pressure, that's like it's a mature Logic. There are influences, but they're not as blatant as they are on the other 2. And
Mhm.
I just feel like it's a more consistent, concise album, personally.
Yeah.
However, any of those 3, I mean, they're all 10s. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get mad at
Yeah.
whatever.
No, that's a good choice. For me, it's Incredible True Story because, like you were saying, I feel like with Under Pressure, Logic has something to prove, or he wanted to prove something. And he even said this in interviews, like I was trying to, obviously he was sharing his own authentic story, but he was trying to morph things in a way that was your typical hip hop album. But Incredible True Story went completely left field, like Outkast on AT Aliens. It did something that he was passionate about cinema, about script writing.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, morphing it into his own world, and doing that, which was amazing. The whole marketing, like Adam was talking about beforehand,
Mhm.
the marketing, meeting with fans, the merch, come on now. The merch,
Yeah.
absolutely
Mm,
stupid. So yeah.
classic merch
Yeah.
to this day.
Yep.
Still, I
Mhm.
mean, that's when people think of Logic merch, they think of that little,
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
NASA suit.
Yeah. I think that for artists, I love when they're able to express what they love in their music. So like Action Bronson's talking about food on his album, and it's hilarious because you can tell he loves food on this album, and you can tell
Yeah.
that he loves wrestling. Logic is so good at just rapping about stuff he's nerdy about, And that's the shit I love. Like, if you're a nerd about hip hop, talk about all the 90s rappers that inspired you. Talk about Rubik's Cubes. Talk about Quentin Tarantino movies. And if you're fans and the anime, how's it going?
This is my
Is that your
girlfriend.
girlfriend?
Calling.
What's up?
Yeah, I don't think she can't hear you. Can
Oh, it's okay.
No.
It's okay. Just know it's
Um,
all positive things.
But like someone who loves movies and like he helped me love movies. Like I love Hans Zimmer. He's talking about Hans Zimmer's own music. He's talking about
Yeah.
Interstellar, like one of my top 5 movies of all time. So that's the type of stuff that makes you connect to an artist more.
It's
outside
more
of just, like,
personal, definitely. It's less
Yeah.
about giving back to hip hop, and it's more like, okay, this is my story, but I'm gonna do it in this like
Yeah.
dope way.
I mean, dude, you got the whole Wu-Tang Clan on a fucking song. It's insane.
Crazy,
Yep.
crazy.
Like,
First one to ever do it.
oh my
Still
God.
the only one
Shows
to
the
ever do
respect
it.
that he has.
Yeah.
A lot of times you look through Twitter and you don't think so, but behind the scenes, he has a lot of
They-
respect that
they
he
know
really
what's up.
puts his work into the craft.
Oh yeah.
But Adam, you know the drill, man.
Yes.
Playlist titles. I'm always gonna ask you this, but what's your playlist title and leading single?
My playlist title, I just went away from the album. Let me load it back up. It's going to be And Then You Pray For Me, new West Side Gun album. I talked about it last time, but it's finally out. And it'd be easy to pick Mama's Prime Time with JID and Conway as my song. But I'm going to go with Suicide and Selfridges with DJ Drama. This beat, he just picks the best beats. He's just really good at curating beats. If you're an artist and you can work with West Side Gun, have him curate your album. I don't know what you're doing. Stop getting these other...
Please.
Stop
Yeah.
getting Kevin Durant to A&R your album. Get West Side Gun to A&R your album. That's how I'm feeling, Sam. Sam, what's your playlist title?
My playlist title is MTV. I was listening to this documentary from Trapital about MTV, and we were talking earlier about Logic on Young Jesus, how memorable that music video was, right?
Mhm.
And it seems like today, music videos, they're still like important, but they're just not as big as they used to be compared to the early 2000s and even beforehand, where music videos were a staple to putting your artwork out there. So I kind of miss that. The song's going to be Ice Slippin'. Omar Apollo dropped an EP not too long ago. That's what I've been vibing to mostly. Still need to catch up
He's
to the West
fire.
Side Gun album. I went halfway through, so I just need to finish the second half. But yeah,
Yeah, music videos we need. I mean, there's great people out there. Cole Bennett, like that new video, everything he
Yeah.
makes is crazy. And
Mhm.
now it's cool because anyone can really make a dope music video with like anything Adobe or something that's on your computer. But I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
MTV, that's just how you had to listen to music. Like you woke up in the morning, that was the only way you were going to
Oh
see it.
yeah. Just on repeat. I would just Twisted Sister, and then it would go to like Michael
Yeah.
Jackson or some random shit.
Yeah.
Like that was a time. It really was.
It was the time.
I mean,
But
I'm
Bryce,
obviously young, but my parents were still, having that shit on.
Yeah.
But so my
hopefully
playlist
gave you enough
title,
time.
yeah, my playlist title, I'm just simply balance. Life is balance. I say that. As you grow older, you got shit you got to deal with, and
Mhm.
you just got to balance it out. And in order to balance it out and get out the bullshit, my song here, I think we're gonna segue into this afterwards, but it's "Fighting My Demons" by Ken Karson.
There we go.
Get that shit out. Fight your demons. Fucking just get the negative rage energy out while you can, and then you're good. You can focus on the not demons part of your
Mhm.
life.
There we go. I love that. So that definitely segues into our first conversation, like a second conversation. So if someone asks me, if I play them a Freddie Gibbs song, they're like, what did you like about this? I can pinpoint 5 different things about the beat, about his rhyme schemes, what got my eyes to widen up. Me and Sam are not, we're not known as Playboi Carti or Ken Karson or Destroy Lonely or that type of music fans.
Yeah.
I like the casual song, like if I'm in the gym, like if I'm listening to Shooters with Uzi, amazing song.
There you go.
What's the one with ASAP Rocky where he just bodies
No
the whole thing?
chopper
Yeah, No Chopper.
or
H
new
the
chopper.
E-double-
Yeah.
H the E-double hockey sticks. So
Yeah.
I've understand it before, but I'm curious because you are a huge fan of these
Yes,
guys.
I am. Yes, I am.
I want you to teach us what you look for in these songs because you're a huge Logic fan, so you love
Yeah.
lyrics.
Yeah.
But this is not for lyrics, I
Yeah.
assume.
No, it's not. It's not actually at all. To an extent, I'll say what it is as far as like Cardi to an extent. So it's like, all right, so this subgenre of, I say underground, they're not even really underground anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe they were like 2 years ago, but you get the Ken Carsons, you got the Yeats, you got the Destroy Lonelys, you got the Thousand Banfani's, Uni the Activist, whoever, Lucky, whatever. And it's like, these guys are not making lyrical music. They're just not. I'll say I said Lucky in there, and that's probably an exception. He actually does make lyrical music, but it sounds like it's not.
Mhm.
But it's like when you think about music, as go back to like the inception of music, like the very first, inception of music, probably like cavemen tapping on rocks. All right. Then you move forward into like, okay, instruments are invented. You have orchestras, you have Beethoven, the piano. There's no lyrics. There's no, you know, value as far as like a storytelling aspect. However, these songs make you feel things. They can tell a story. They can change your emotion just based of, the progression, the sounds they use, the keys, everything like that. And people like are going to say this sounds corny, but this new music, it's like literally the same thing. Like you have I'll say a lot of the merit for these songs comes with the producer. If that beat's bad, the song's gonna be bad. Ken Karson is not gonna save a bad beat. He's just not.
Yeah.
Logic could save a bad beat because he raps, you know what I'm saying? But like that's the difference. A lot of the weight falls on the producers in just finding what hits, what's gonna hit the right pockets, and whatever pockets are left open or for interpretation, that's left up to the artist to kind of use their voice as an instrument. I think a lot of this new wave really started with Young Thug. I mean, when Young Thug came out, I don't know. Are you guys Young Thug fans at all?
I've developed into being one.
I'm a Young Thug fan. I developed into one.
Then you can develop into being a Ken Karson / Playboi Carti fan. I guarantee it, because it's literally just Thug. When he came out, you guys saw the memes. You guys are old enough to remember. Like, you guys remember everyone was like, what the fuck is he saying? This is gibberish. Like, how are you guys listening to this? But the truth is, Thug is using his voice as an instrument. Now, for these people, I'll say Carti definitely follows that wave. His voice is the instrument. But for other artists who maybe aren't as creative or influential like that, like a Ken Karson, it's like, they're also using their voice as an instrument, but it's definitely aided by the instrumental. And it's just like, you can pull in emotion, you can pull in like certain feelings just when hearing a song come on. And a lot of these artists, I mean, they're making songs to perform. I mean, they're going on 2+ tours a year. I mean, they're trying to fill the fridge, with I respect, but it's like when you're into that like whole concert culture, it's like these are the songs you want to hear. I mean, I love going to some lyrical concerts. Like, I think Logic puts on one of the best shows, out there.
Yeah, he's great.
However, like, I'm not going to be throwing elbows in a pit at a Logic concert. It's like, it really is just music to like get your adrenaline up, get your rage up. If there, like you said, you listen to some Carti in the gym, if there's any way to get into it, I tell people listen to it in the gym, and it almost always works. Just put on a whole lot of Red in the gym. If you don't like it the first time, do it again. If you don't like it that time, do it again. Like, literally, like,
it'll click that third listen.
Yeah, and a lot of this music, I mean, growing up, like, obviously, Ken Karson wasn't around when I was growing up, but music like this, that was like starting to bubble in around 2015 is really when it started. I did not understand at all. I heard Carti's first 2 albums both of them I heard in the day they came out, and I was like, this might be the worst artist I've heard in my life. But now he's my favorite, and it's just there's essentially what I'm saying is there's emotional value in this music, and you really just have to embrace it and tap in with that and not look too deeply into it. Now, Carti does have lyrics. Like, my favorite Carti song is Stop Breathing. He talks about like all this like gang shit going on in Atlanta and how he got this guy shanked in jail, which literally happened. Like, you can look it up. Like, there's this whole gang war going on with his rival gang, whatever, and it's all real. So stuff like that is definitely interesting to hear. But generally, it's just gonna make you feel some way, and that's why it's amazing.
No, that was very eloquently put. So I kind of have 2 questions for you. One, how do you then judge the artist? Since it is so production based, how do you feel about, like, I mean, the credit's really going all to Carti.
It is, yeah.
It is so dependent on him.
What I will say is, as far as that, I see what you're saying, but as far as that Carti example, there is definitely a lot of growing appreciation for producers because of this fact in the underground. I mean, if you're a Carti fan, you guys know that I don't know if you guys know him, this guy named Filthy, all over the album. And he used to work with Blade, Drain Gang. Like, if you guys are, I doubt you guys are into them. I'm not really into them. That's like another level of like some weird hyper pop music.
Yeah.
But, like Starboy, he does like lots of Ken Carson stuff. So like these producers are, they're actively gaining fans because of this music. And I think that's why this wave of music is so important, because you guys know producers generally underappreciated, generally uncredited, especially when it comes to lyricism. All the eyes are on the wordplay and the lyricism and storytelling. But now it's like, there is a lot of credit given to the main artist, but there are becoming like cult fans of like certain producers who want certain producers to work with certain artists because, at this stage, people are fans of the production more than they're an artist. I feel like, especially if you're a hardcore fan. If you're a casual one, you're not going to care. But we are music nerds here, so there definitely is fan bases growing for producers, which I love to see.
Yeah, and like you said, that new wave of that genre is really important because, like I said this earlier with Adam too. Within hip hop, there's always been a transition to a new sound. If you look at the 2000s, it was 50 Cent and that hard gangster rap sound. Then Kanye came in with the soul, chipmunk sampling, and then to the pop rap and et cetera, right? But I feel like we have been in a place where trap music was the latest shift when the Migos came out, and we're trying to transition to something else, but there hasn't been something that's popped up to the mainstream. But when we talk about artists like Kenny Mason, Ken Carson, even like Baby Keem, Suicide Boys, like that underground sound, and even everyone underneath is what the new wave is of rap right now. And although it may not be on the mainstream level yet, I respect the genre a lot because that's what the new sound is going to. It's completely new. I think JPEG Mafia was, I think, the pioneer who really set forward to push that sound. But it's important that we have that in hip hop,
Yeah, I mean, and even that sound specifically, I mean, look at like Benny X, man. I mean, that man just started working on beats on his phone in the garage, working with this one guy he found on the internet named Yeet, who I don't even think he knew was going to blow up. And now Benny X is on literally everyone's album, making many different types of beats. I mean, people are, this wave is being pushed by producers. I mean, it really is, and I'm here for that. The artists have had their shine. The artists will continue to get their shine for the rest of history. But I love seeing producer superstars coming out of the woodwork. I mean, it's refreshing, and it's encouraging to producers out there who might think that they might get a placement, but really, what's that placement going to do for them? Give them a few bucks streaming revenue? It just gives them an opportunity to grow their brand more now.
Yeah, and speaking on that, it was so awesome to see Twitter all collectively go so crazy for Conductor Williams with 8 a.m. in Charlotte.
Exactly, like, that too. People are loving producers. I mean, Griselda definitely, as well. They're big on that. Derringer. I mean, Big Ghost LTD. I mean, they're very good at crediting producers and making sure they're known for what they're doing. So that's the future.
So how does it feel to you as a fan? Because I know how I felt when I heard that Conductor. It felt like I won, even though I don't even know this man.
Yeah.
I'm like, Conductor, we have a problem. How does it feel for you when you see Drake making a song with Yeet and doing what impressions, and you see Kanye West having Carti on, and he's someone who usually is making trends. Kanye is kind of reverted to riding trends, maybe in a better way than Drake did it, but how's that feel as a fan?
So I'll say, as far as the Drake thing, I don't know if you guys are aware, Drake and Yeet have like known each other for like 2 years. Like, it's been a while. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, that picture of them together, that's actually literally how I found out about Yeet. It was like Drake takes a picture with Yeet. I'm like, who's Yeet? Like, I didn't know who that was. But I really like seeing it. Drake is a chameleon. I mean, let's just be real here. Whether it's cultures, whether it's like, accents, types of music, that man's a chameleon. He's going to kind of mold to whatever he wants to because he can get away with it. So seeing something like that happen with Drake doesn't surprise me as much, especially since he did collab with Carti, in 2020, when I was trying to build up to Whole Lotta Red. That happened. So I've seen, we've seen Drake. We see what he do. That doesn't surprise me as much. But the Kanye stuff does surprise me. I mean, Donda is like a crazy album. That's one of my favorite Kanye albums. And it's like Kanye really took like it's riding trends, but I want to say it's more of like amplifying trends, because Kanye knows what he can do, knows what he does. And Kanye took all these artists and really put them on his own shit. I mean, it was like Donda's like some weird hip hop gospel fusion drill. I don't even know. So it's like Kanye kind of, I'll say Drake takes artists and plays in their field. Kanye takes artists and makes them play in his field.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kanye said it himself. I mean, he's like, I think he was doing an interview with Noir, I think, and he was like, they asked who the future was, and he was like, Uzi and Carti. I mean, he knows that. Kanye can see. Like, Kanye can see what's happening. I mean, when you look at when Kanye came out, I mean, people loved Kanye, but a lot of people didn't take him serious, whether it was because he was a producer first, whether it because he was not gangster rapping, or who's wearing, the types of clothes he was wearing that wasn't traditional. And a lot of the kids, the younger kids, not even a little bit older than us, the younger kids were getting into him. Literally the same thing's happening with Carti. I mean, there's no teenager in America who doesn't like Playboi Carti if they like hip hop, unless they're like an old head brainwashed. And then one day they will like Carti, and that's just how it's going to be. I mean, that's how it was with Kanye. I mean, it's history repeats itself.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say.
Kanye is one of the goats at finding artists, like picking the right feature for the right song. Tyler Creator's also amazing that. But
great curators, both of them.
Yeah. To go off Kanye, to talk about his son now, Travis Scott, who you recently just saw on his new tour. Travis Scott is known for having the best concerts you can have. Although, I mean, Utopia definitely does not have it's not being spoken about the same way that I think Astroworld was, as much of a movement. And it didn't sound like an album, and I don't think he made it for this reason. It didn't sound like an album that was made for performances compared to Astroworld was made. Fuck the club.
Yeah,
like, that was made.
Astroworld was made to fucking punch a high schooler in the face. Like, I mean, literally.
My friend saw someone get his shirt ripped right off their body at the show.
I'm sure. I mean, I saw some crazy shit
But
too. So
you saw the first show in Charlotte. Tell us about it. I know you can go start from the opener.
Yeah,
for whatever that was.
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so Tizo Touchdown. I like Tizo Touchdown. Tizo Touchdown's new album was all right. There were some tracks I didn't like. There were some tracks I liked. I really respect Tizo, and he's just doing everything in left field. And you can tell, at least with Tizo, the way he operates, it comes from a place of general like interest and passion, rather than just trying to be different for the sake of being different. Like I could see how an outsider could look at Tizo or see his performance and be like, what the fuck is he doing? But for me, it's like, all right, like this man clearly has paved the way for himself. But anyways, Tizo opens for Travis Scott. Kind of an interesting opener. Doesn't really align with Travis fan base in my opinion. But like, whose fan base does Tizo really align with? I mean, he already toured with Tyler. That would be my closest answer. That's the first time I saw him, and he killed it then.
Yeah, that was with the construction work thing that was going on. That was weird.
Yeah,
but cool.
But Tizo on stage now. If you guys have seen the Utopia tour layout, it's like this long, it's this long little thing, rocky. There's like these little floating heads and whatnot. Anyways, Travis does a great job of going from one side of the stage to the other, turning around. He does a great job. And I'll say, I know a lot of shit on Tizo on Twitter, but I don't think it's really Tizo's fault, because when Tizo was performing, they put him on one side of the stage. And for my venue, there were no seats on that side. I looked at other shows, there are seats on that side. So I understand, but for my venue, still, there weren't seats on that side. And even if there were seats on that side, the issue would still exist that people wouldn't be able to see him in the crowd, which is what I experienced, and in the seats. There's too much stuff blocking. And what I had noticed when he was performing is that the lights that Tizo used, that were shining on him, those are the only lights. That was the only stage that was lit up. I don't think he was literally allowed to move. I mean, I've been to plenty of concerts. I've seen this happen, especially with walkout stages. The main artist has a walkout stage. The opener usually will not go on the walkout stage because of the lights. They're not lit up. That's just not what they're supposed to do. So I know I shitted on Tizo. I don't really think it's his fault, but literally, I couldn't see a damn thing. I didn't see him once. I didn't see him fucking once. And I know there are people in the seats who I went to the concert with who had the same problem. They didn't see him a single time. My boy SK on Twitter, I'm sure you guys are familiar with, he was there. He didn't see him a single time. And it's like, bruh, like, you are gatekeeping yourself from the crowd. But I will say, he saw complaints on Twitter about it, and he said he was going to try to fix it. I haven't kept up with the other tours. I think there's been like 2 shows since. I don't know if that was fixed. I hope so, because I literally didn't see him. Like, I didn't, like, maybe 20 people saw his body. Like, literally, it was so weird. But it was, apart from that, Tizo went on at 8 o'clock sharp, like he was supposed to.
Thank
Travis went
God.
on at 9:30. I don't know why they only gave Tizo like a 20-minute set. If he's gonna wait that long, maybe come on later. I don't know. I don't do concert promotion. I don't know how it works. But Travis was crazy. I mean, like jumped out the stage. There were parts of the stage that moved up and then came down. The stage was so dynamic. You
It
guys,
looks
like,
sick.
people don't even realize how dynamic it was just off videos or pictures, because it is literally always moving. There's something going on. Like, there's a bridge under the stage. There's like something going on. If you wanted to, you can literally like just follow Travis. Like, he would go to like one side of the stage, and like he, after being on one part for like a long time, there'd be like no one there, so you could be right on the barricade, like right in front of him. That's actually how he brought up 2 fans, because they went to like the part of the stage that he hadn't been at yet, and they were like the only 2 people there. So it's definitely a really good stage design. Apart from the criticisms I have with Tizo, I had no issues with Travis. However, I will also say, when he brought Tizo out to perform Modern Jam, where Tizo was actually allowed to go on other parts of the stage, I had no idea. I didn't even see him at all. I didn't even know it happened until after the concert, and I saw a video. I was like, oh, Tizo was on stage? I didn't know. Like, but it was a crazy concert. I mean, especially with the way the stage is set up on the 2 sides. You have like one side of the stage, because there is like a main stage on the stage where he spends most of the time. It's like one side that is a little more open. If you're into moshing and stuff, it's probably the side you want to be on. The other side was the side I was on. Definitely some moshing and some crazy shit going on that side. However, if you needed to like step back and take a breather, you literally just walk like 10 feet back and you're on the barricade. So it was very easy to, take a break, and then you could just get right back in and pretty much get front row without trying. Like, the design of the stage actually has worked out pretty well, in my experience, at least from going to that first concert.
All good things. That makes me happy too, because I know one of the big talking points for Travis was how will this size up to Astroworld. I was a clown. Travis came to the shot in Columbus, Ohio. I didn't go. All my friends went.
Damn,
Regretted it
bro.
for the rest of my life. I'm a big time
I didn't
clown,
go
right?
either.
So yeah. So the biggest thing is, how can Utopia play up? And I know Adam was saying that there wasn't a lot of replayability on Utopia. Fair enough. But when I heard Utopia, the
Compared
first
to
thing I
Astroworld.
compared to Astroworld, there you go.
Yeah, there is replayability.
Right. Okay. But the thing is, I knew when I first heard it, this is the type of album that's going to be good for live performances. When you hear Yeezus, there may not be a lot of replayability, but go to the
Mm,
Yeezus live shows and see what's going to happen. So I'm really
yeah.
happy to hear how dynamic the stage was. I'm sure Travis was probably rocking his costumes and all that stuff.
He was changing clothes
Yeah,
throughout the night.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
dope.
That's awesome.
He's
And the
also
Tizo thing is weird too. I don't know what's up with that, but the good thing is it's more of a behind the scenes technical issue rather than his actual performance, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember there was a video that came out on Twitter with Mariah the Scientist talking about how she took her first ever
yeah.
performing gig at a festival, and it was obviously she wasn't good. It went bad. And it seems like with this generation, at least, because people are blowing up so early, so young, it's while they're in their room cooking up music, but they have no stage presence. They haven't actually prepared the skills to actually go out and perform. Tizo, I'm not sure about his case, but it seems like he did perform well. It's just a technical issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of artists skipping steps these days. It is
Mhm.
sad. As someone who's trying to go into the live music industry, it's
Yeah.
it's rough to see. And I was talking to someone, the head of AudioMac on Twitter. He's really good with like responding
Mm,
to people, and he was saying this is completely a manager issue. It's not on the festival. Because I was like, you would think the festival wouldn't want to book someone who's going to like ruin their own festival.
yeah.
But hey, I don't know, someone tells you you can perform at Rolling Loud and you're a small artist who just had blow up. It's probably hard to look that in the face and just not
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Rolling Loud is like made it pretty much. I mean, that's the pinnacle of like music festivals, I feel like, as far as hip
Yeah.
hop goes, which is crazy because it really started in the garage, like X and Lil Pump, like literally.
Yeah.
Compared to Astroworld, what are you picking between Utopia or Astroworld concert for you?
As far as a concert, I would choose Astroworld. As far as an album, I'd also choose Astroworld. But I will say, Utopia live was dope. I mean,
Cool.
Yeah.
there are some great songs on there, especially Fiend with Carti. Fuck, he played it twice. He played it twice because it was that good. But there are like even the slower stretches in the album, like I know in my eyes, like they
I Know's the
were
best song.
theatrical. They were theatrical to see live. when he performed those songs, he had this like part of the stage that like went all the way up, and then he had spotlights on him. And I think he definitely used the stage dynamics to his advantage for songs like that, because of course there were kids who were like moshing and stuff for that. They shouldn't have been, but they were. But it was like, just, I don't know, the dynamics of the stage played into the album, and like the theme, the bumps of the album. He went pretty much chronological order. So you start out, he's kind of rapping, he's kind of going around the stage almost like a traditional MC, rapping every word, and then it kind of goes into the slower territory where he gets on the stage himself, way up, and people can just kind of watch, and then he gets into some of the more like energetic, more concert-like tracks, and he mixed them in with some of his more energetic tracks in his discography in general, and I think it worked out really well. People had problems with the set list, but it's like he performed like every song in Utopia apart for like 4 or 5 tracks, and he performed like his most popular songs, and he even threw in like SDP interlude and Mamacita. Like,
Fire.
it's a good set list in my opinion. I have no problems with it.
Yeah, and I think that's something that people tend to forget. Like, not all the time a concert is going to be like this mosh session. Same thing with Mr. Around the Big Steppers. I mean, I've talked about this already. There wasn't as many hits. Again, the replayability factor wasn't there.
I agree.
But when I went to the concert, right, it was theatrical. It was thematic and all that stuff. And
I went to that concert too. Yeah,
and that's what pisses me off, when people are fucking moshing and I can't even see what's going on. Like, you have the girls, you have the I can't. But then
and he's front
flips right in front of me, like, bruh.
Yeah.
So that literally irks me so much. But at least the Utopia concert was good. Maybe is he pulling through to Columbus again? Or probably not.
I don't know.
He probably isn't. Nobody comes. But I really want to go. I missed Astro Road, so I gotta go see Travis one more time. That's one of the biggest regrets.
Yeah, you got to see Travis. I mean, that was on my concert bucket list, and I got Uzi coming up next month, so that's on my other bucket list. So
I got to see Travis. I need to see, because Cole's my goat. I need to see him for real. I've seen him at festival.
Yeah, I haven't seen Cole, actually.
I got you.
It's just crazy, because I'm from North Carolina.
Yeah, oh my God.
The fall off, though, we're saving it for the best. Once he drops the fall off, then
I'll be there.
I'm splurged. By then, I'll hopefully have a full-time job, my own money, and I can splurge on that one.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Bryce, and I'm not sure if you've even heard your list, Adam, but I want to know what your favorite albums of the year so far. We're obviously heading to a close. If it's more hip-hop orientated or more general, but I just wanted to hear what's on your list so far before we close out 2023, and also your thoughts on the year too. For me, it's been a pretty solid year. Not the best, but there are a lot of great projects out there, though.
Yeah. All right. So, this probably isn't going to be in chronological order. I have this whole, every time I like listen to an album where I put it on my phone. I have this whole list of shit. So some of my favorites on here, just looking through right here, I see Loopers, his new album Microphone Fiend. I don't know if have you guys heard of Loopers before?
Yeah, I've heard him. I haven't listened to the album though.
Detroit artist. He's another guy who uses his voice as an instrument, but one of the most diverse artists I've heard in my entire life. I mean, he'll sound so different on each track, and he'll do something so crazy. He can rap his ass off and say some crazy shit, and he can like sing and do like these weird pitch shifts, and it's great. Another
Logic
one
worked with him, right?
Yeah, he did on their new song. Yeah. That shit is nice. That shit is nice. All right, another one on here. This new Rome Streets album is fire. I forget what it's called. I don't even have it on here.
Yeah.
But that new Rome Streets album, fire. Griselda, one of my favorite in there.
Yeah.
Of course, lyricism's going to be on point. Now, this might be my favorite album this year. Oh, I got 2 more. I'll say V's Ganger, another Detroit rapper. He's just like laid back, when he raps, it kind of sounds like he's like almost mumbling, not like mumble rap, but like he's actually rap. Like if you listen to his shit, some of the best punchlines you'll hear. I mean, I know all the Detroit shines on Babytron right now. Shout out Babytron, but like V's is the best rapper from Detroit. He says all my Instagram captions for the last like 3 pictures are all like V's lines. Yeah, because he's so good with his wordplay, and he's so good. Fucking crazy. And of course I had to say it. I'll say my 4th one here. Ken Karson, A Great Chaos.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a
new one.
It's been on repeat. I mean, it's probably his best album. It's probably my favorite Opium release to come out this year. And there's a song in there for every mood. I mean, there really is. It's just so good. I know you guys will get into it one day, but it's good. It's fucking good. It's really fucking good. It is.
I've heard a lot of great things about it, but that's my critique, right? So, although this music is amazing, this trend is amazing, I feel like it's kind of like it gives me like Nirvana grunge era where
Hmm.
it's a trend going on, but the thing is, how sustainable is it? Because when we get old, right?
We
Let's say
shall
we're
see.
30s. Are we gonna be bumping Playboi Carti
Out,
and all these? No, it's gonna be. It
What?
either has to go to the next generation coming up, or no one's gonna listen to it anymore because a new
yeah,
wave has come up. You
I
know?
feel you definitely.
Hmm.
Not a lot of substance there to grow with. It's more of, like I said, like it is a feeling. The music's a feeling,
Yeah. Like,
and
could you imagine
you
being 40
yeah, you
bumping
can
that?
only rage. You can only rage to Playboy Cardi so many times. I'll probably be listening to Cardi
You
till the
think?
day I'm on my fucking deathbed.
Yeah.
But I understand in a general sense. You're definitely correct.
I'm trying to think of my album. Jordan Ward has my album of the year. I cannot see
Mhm.
anyone topping
Okay,
it.
I actually
Ah,
listened to that.
Jordan
Yeah,
Ward.
I did listen to that. That was
I
pretty
saw
good.
him. I saw him open for Jadine Smino. Since then, I have been in love.
Yeah, dude, he
Uh,
didn't go to my stop. I don't know why.
what, bro? He like as someone who's huge on concerts, he impressed me so much with his stage presence.
Yeah,
It was great. I'm trying to think
yeah.
who else has dropped top. I really loved Marlon Craft's album Home Court Volume 2,
Mm.
Conway's album, which is way earlier in the year.
Yeah,
That
well,
was
it
great.
was. I think I have it on here. Maybe not. I
I'm
don't
trying to think off the top of my
know.
head who else dropped.
Hmm.
The Jungle album, not rap, but that fire.
Not heard. Yeah,
It's like all over TikTok. There's one song they have. It's like a dance. I don't know. But I'm
got you.
trying to think hip hop. I mean, this new West Side Gun album might end up being up there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
It's tough.
Yeah, we'll
For
see.
me, at least on my list, obviously Adam already knows this, but for me,
Yeah.
hip hop hasn't been my favorite so far this year. And I listen to literally everything. So like I listen to
yeah.
alternative, I listen to pop, all that. Of course, like my big three for me, Paramore, This Is Why, Boy
I heard that
Genius,
was
their
good.
album The Record,
Yeah.
and a couple other too. But in terms of hip hop specifically, I'm gonna go with Larry June, The Great
Oh my
Escape.
God.
That
I
was a
forgot
great
So
that was
good.
this year.
project.
It's been a long
Yep.
year.
Yeah, it
It's been a
has, man.
long year.
Palisades,
JPEG
California.
Mafia and Danny Brown also had a collab album too, which I
Yep,
really
Scaring the
enjoyed.
Hose, so good. I'll add
Hmm.
that to mine
Yep.
too.
My,
That's top 5. Yeah.
What else dropped this year?
my
Oh,
friend,
I
my
know this
friend
might
who's
be like,
not into
mhm.
that type of music. I was like, my friend who's not into that type of music sent me a Scaring the Hose. I'm like, are you sending this to me right now? Like, you listened to a JPEG Danny Brown song and liked it?
Hmm.
The
Like,
most abstract
I
shit.
gotta send you
Yeah.
a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to include No Name 2 and Mick Jenkins. They both dropped really solid projects. But one
Oh, Mick
artist
Jenkins.
I
My
really,
bad.
yeah, Mick Jenkins, right? I really want to give a shout out to is Jack Harlow. I feel like
Yeah.
people he sees mainstream, so they overlook him. But we all know
Okay.
Jack Harlow. If you've been following forever, what he can do on the mic. And Jack, man, that was a great project. The fact he didn't market it, the fact that he
Yeah.
kept it low key underground, and he went back to the craft. That album is still to be one of the best
Just
rap albums
bars.
of the year so far. Just barring out, great music, great beats, great production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I like Jack. I mean, I got into Jack around 2015. I think he dropped
Hmm.
Dark Knight was the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dark
That shit was
Knight.
hard.
Yeah,
I mean, I was rooting
yeah.
for Jack.
Mhm.
His yeah, Come Home the Kids Miss You. I
We
wasn't a
don't
fan
talk
of,
about that
like,
one. We
literally
don't,
at
we don't talk
all.
about that one.
Like, but this album brought it back, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
Head
at the
nail
same
tech.
time, it's like it's funny to like say that and to like shit on
Mhm.
him, but like at the same time, when you think of it from a business perspective, it's like, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
of course that album was going to sound like that. And the
Mhm.
fact that he even came back to give us a project like this one, he knows damn well he doesn't have to. And it might
Yep.
why
honestly hurt his career that he did do that,
respect
but
though.
he did it. So
That's
shout out him.
all I want Drake to do. I thought
True.
Jack Harlow took
Yeah.
that risk.
Hey man, he's on that new
Bryce,
wave
it's
now.
an
So
honor to
that
have
we're
you
not
here.
getting that.
Thank
Also
you.
throw in College Park too. That's also one of my
Yeah.
favorites as well. Lightsabers
Yeah.
are my favorite tracks of the year, honestly. And what
Yeah.
was it on? Wake Up,
That's
Beats
good.
Ridiculous. Shout out
Yeah.
to Six. Six does not get enough love. He's one of the best producers out, and he's been one of the best producers for a long time. He has knocked
Six
down
the
his
goat,
flowers. So
bro.
shout out to Six. He is. He is
Because
the GOAT.
he's really I might be completely wrong, but I feel like he doesn't work with too many other people.
He
that,
doesn't,
like,
no, at all.
Yeah, he's in house.
I
He
guess-
works
hey,
with Marlon Craft. I'll say
He does,
Marlon
yeah.
Craft is one
Mhm.
artist. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Shout out Six,
That's he worked with Lil Yachty before too. Those are the only two artists I can think of.
which is crazy. Maybe he just I don't know. Maybe he's complacent, not complacent, but maybe he's like doing well enough where he doesn't have
Yeah.
to.
I personally, I don't know if this is true. I know that I know Logic, and I don't mean to slander if this isn't true, but I think it might be a contract type thing. But that
Oh,
could be
man.
completely wrong.
Hey,
Could
if
be.
you're gonna get a stable paycheck as a music producer, and I'm
Yeah,
sure if it's Logic,
mean,
it's a great paycheck. Why
take
not?
it, yeah, take it. You know, whatever. I could be wrong though. Like I said, I have no idea.
Yeah, I just said, Bryce, thank you for coming, man. It's an honor.
Mm-hmm.
Love this conversation.
Of course.
You can, yeah. If trying to think, what's your social medias? You can plug that right now.
Just Twitter, just Fitz Bryce, you know, 2 T's and the Fitz,
Keep it simple.
and my
Simple.
YouTube. It's Fitz Records. That's all I really care about. The rest is
Yeah.
just, you know, if you're bored, you know, I guess follow me on TikTok or Instagram, but there's not too much
Yeah.
going on there. But yeah, tap into my Twitter. I post bullshit about music in my life and shit.
Yep.
Go
big
check
on
him
tw-
out.
I'm
Go
big on
check out his
tweeting into the
YouTube too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's me all
Yeah.
day.